when it comes to like, writing this book, what was the hardest part about putting this together?
I think I honestly, and this probably would just be sort of the whole process, but I think publishing. So writing is difficult because if you don't have a good idea, if you don't have that sort of creative spark, yeah, right, you can't
Right.
do the deed. But getting this project to kind of fruition. So I finished the manuscript in about 2019, and then it was like, okay, I'm ready to publish. What does publishing look like? I don't understand that space, how you do that.
Right.
So I had to essentially, I figured step one would be I'll edit it. So I self-edit it, and then I realized that I needed to bring in a separate set of eyes, somebody else to edit it, or else, since it's my baby, it would never really be up to snuff.
Exactly.
Because I couldn't criticize myself that much or enough.
Yeah.
So I brought in and I started looking at editors, and then I realized I kind of needed to get an editor with military experience, or else all these inside jokes and all this sort of stories would kind of be lost on your average author from Manhattan or wherever, because they just don't understand the military culture and sort of our space. So I brought in one of our West Point classmates, who's actually an English professor there now. And I thank her in the beginning of the book, Renee Farrar. And I reached out to her and I said, here's my project I'm working on. Could I, pay you to essentially edit and help me figure out how to publish my work? And she agreed to it, thankfully.
Cool.
And then with her, we had to sort of decode of like, what is publishing? Because I think everyone's sort of aware of the old framework, which is you would get a literary agent, they'd pitch your book to a big publishing house like Simon and Schuster or Random House or whomever, and if they like your book, then they put it out on bookshelves.
Right.
And then they're self-publishing. Mm-hmm. So it was just like, okay, well, how do we do that? So went through that process of, to get a literary agent, like if you're a Hollywood actor, you have an agent, right? That agent sells you that says, I want Andy to be in this movie. You get picked up. That's how you get your work. For a literary agent, you essentially send them a cover letter and an excerpt of your book. And if they like you, then they try to find you work and they try to sell your book to publishing houses.
Right.
So working with Renee, we did that, and we sent them out to like 30 different literary agents. And through that, then I realized that's the old way the industry works, and no one cares if you have anything new and fresh to say. And that then you have to sort of go into self-publishing.
Right.
Because unfortunately, the industry only wants to publish you if you're a celebrity, or you've written Harry Potter 2, or something that's kind of already been done, right?
Exactly.
So then I looked into the self-publishing space. And self-publishing is, there's either Amazon or there's others out there. And what I had to learn was that, because there's people pitch different values of either one, and Amazon, it's huge, but you shouldn't go with Amazon. You give up, they had different misnomers about Amazon. But I realized with all these other self-publishers, you need to pay them upfront money to publish your book. You need to pay them a few $1,000s, and then they'll edit it, and then they'll package it, and they'll put it out. But you're essentially paying them to do the final part of the work that you've mostly done yourself.
Right.
And then looking into Amazon, I realized with Amazon, they don't need any upfront, payment or anything. They're just going to take their cut after it's published. And it's in your favor. It's like 70-30, 60-40. You actually get, as a self-publisher through Amazon, you get a bigger share than you would if you go through a literary house. So decided to go with Amazon, and then working with Renee, finished up all the editing. And then there was other things we did, but that was pretty much it then. Once we got the book edited to an acceptable level, had cover art, and then had it formatted, I essentially just needed to put it up on Amazon, hit publish, and then 2-3 days later, I have a searchable work that all my friends, the family, everyone in the world can find just by searching Amazon. And however maybe simple That sounds of just sort of like plodding along and working with a person, it probably took like a year and a half of just sort of discovery to figure out how like self-publishing actually works.